Showtime!
It's about that time.
Let's go!
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah!
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
All right. We are back for another show, everyone. Thank you for coming to GCOM Radio. I'm your host, Nova Phoenix, host of GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio, man. Yeah. So what has been going on for the week for everyone out there that's listening to the show around the four corners of the planet? Yeah, man, we are back for another episode. Mine was cool. Mine was all right. And laying low and doing my thing, doing my duty, trying to figure out what things to do in the city. And the city is still on lockdown. I don't know for the rest of you guys in America, in the other the states, but you know, we're kind of semi-open, New York, and so there's like some places to go and some places that are still on lockdown. And I was just checking that out, and you know, there's some interesting things that are open in New York, and I'll see about sharing that later in the show. But the city's not fully open, so we're still kind of, you know, trying to figure out what we do with the kids, what we do with each other, you know. But it's all for all the well and good, because you know, during this COVID thing. So people still remember not you, but we all are still in this COVID-19 global pandemic. And I know a lot of you don't like to wear the mask. You want to get past that, but your own personal feelings of being bored or just being just totally over with wearing the mask, that does not mean that the reality changes according to your own thought process. We are still dealing with COVID-19. The virus is spreading. People are still getting sick. And as I tell people, even you can be an asymptomatic carrier, as what the experts say, but nobody wants to play Russian roulette. At the end of the day, no one wants to play Russian roulette with their lives and be that person that's laying out in the hospital bed with a tube stuck down their throat. So nobody wants to at least take that risk. That's why people will go to the beach and stuff and be free and all that. But as far as companies saying that you got to sign waivers or those I forgot the name of what they would say, but what was it? What's the word I'm looking for? They don't want to be held liable. Contracts. Ain't nobody trying to sign that and go to work. It's funny, it's my kid's school. A kid came down with COVID, or I believe so, in the first grade of my kid's school. So, you know, a lot of parents are still having their kids home, even before they found out about the kid. And now that the news has went around that this kid got COVID, and you know, in the first grade, I think it was. All right, so I think it was kindergarten. A kid came down with COVID, and then I think some of the folks in the home, the family got COVID, and now it's like, ain't no parents is trying to. I'm pretty sure when parents hear that, they're like, nope. And matter of fact, I got the email from the school saying that the lower grades are definitely doing virtual schooling now. So, forget that. As far as the parents making that personal choice, the school is going ahead and doing that. So, so don't get it twisted, man. The COVID's still out there, and just protect yourself. Wear your mask. Try to socially distance. Do all those things. But we are going to get back on the road running. It's just going to take time, man. You can't rush nature. All right, so let's get the show going. And the what we got going. What have we seen in the past couple days? In the last 5 or 6 days, Kanye is going at it again, but not the same old crazy Kanye. This is where I do support Kanye. So it turns out that he's supporting, and it's all kicked off when he was pissing on his Grammy, as you've seen on his IG account, or it was Twitter. He was pissing on his Grammy, saying this is all bullshit. Artists are still getting shafted on their contracts, and he was showing his support for artists and how full of shit the music industry is. And he did that by pissing on his Grammy, and his Grammy was in the toilet. Yeah, you know, he's doing that for shock value and all those things. He got kicked off of Twitter, but now he's back on. But besides all that, he's saying that the artist, you know, rule number 4080, record company, the record company business is shady. What? Remember that from back in the day. Yeah, so they still aren't playing games, and now he wants to support and change how the music industry is working against artists. And in particular, one big artist that he considers his friend, Taylor Swift, she's going through the same thing with this dude named Scooter Taylor. He's a manager of Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande and J Balvin and all us. So he has this company called Ithaca Holdings, and they bought Big Machine Records for $300 million. And that includes all six, or not even saying six, I don't even know how much she got, but 6 of Taylor's albums. So she thinks that, or she's got a slick idea, which I didn't have thought of. She's gonna re-record 6 albums so she doesn't have to be held to this dude Scooter Taylor. But Kanye say, no, you don't have to do that. So he's gonna try to work something out with this dude because he considers him his air quote close personal friend. So hey man, listen, the record business has not changed. And as I said before to all you guys out there, you know, the technology is there. Everything is set. All it takes is willpower and human ingenuity and drive. Just go and do it yourself. And you know, hey man, what are you gonna do? You see many 17, 18, 19-year-olds signing these contracts, and it's still all crazy considering everything that's out there that's made available for people to do their own thing. But you know, you're always gonna have the people that don't know. But let's see what Kanye does. That's gonna be an interesting thing. Next, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Oh man, rest in peace, RBG. She passed away last Friday, and it's terrible. It's terrible. You know, I send my condolences to her family and close friends, and yeah, it's terrible the fact that, you know, whoever Trump wants to push it through, and a lot of these Republicans that support Trump, they want to push through someone just going to take RBG's place. And of course, you know what that means if Trump is going to do that. So people are concerned that's going to have an effect on Roe versus Wade, you know, voting rights and all the other issues that the United States citizens are affected by. And experts are saying that usually it's not enough time, especially so close to the election, that they're going to try to push through someone, a Supreme Court justice, to take her place. But you know what they're trying to do. The blood is in the water, folks. You know, I wish Democrats were just as gully as Republicans. I swear, man. Republicans be like the G's in Congress, man. And Democrats be rolling over and taking it. Now, I always said it's either they are pansies, the Democrats, or they secretly on the low agree with Republicans and they just play this game. So it makes it seem that there's another side or they're opposing sides. And I'm like, Democrats is mad soft. But yeah, they're trying to push this through. We'll see what happens. And I think we got 45 more days or 44 more days to the election. But the other side is saying that it's not enough time. But we're going to see. Look, listen, I think I flip-flopped on when it comes to voting. And this turn has made me think, okay, I got to do I got to do my thing. I got to get on my ball and get on the ball and do what I got to do and stop, flip-flopping, because it's going through my head. What should I do? But yeah, man, we in some dire times, man. So this is a moment in time. Even however you vote, I say vote. Go ahead and vote. And we'll worry about all that stuff afterwards. I think first and foremost, the mission is to get this fool out, and then we're gonna push ahead and go hard on whoever else is in the seat. But first and foremost, I think the mission is to get this guy out of here. Next up is Blackpink. What is going on with this? What the hell is Blackpink? Blackpink, and I'm mentioning it on the show. Oh, before I get into Blackpink, First and foremost, speaking of loved ones that pass away, I'd like to give a special shout out to Latasha, LK Mason. She was a previous co-host of this show, GCOM Radio, some time ago. And I would like to give a special shout out to her whole family. Rest in peace to her father that passed away this past weekend. We were talking back and forth how he's been having some medical complications. And it seemed that the hospital that he was in, the doctor gave him, a fist pump saying he's good. He's coming out of it okay. And he was home for, I believe, a couple weeks, at least 2 weeks out of the hospital. And, he was pushing through. But then I got the message that he got sick again, pretty bad. And Latasha hit me up saying that he was going to go back to the hospital over the weekend. And unfortunately, he passed away. So my condolences to LK Mason, to her family, and all her close friends on the passing of her father. From what I've seen, he was a very well-liked, warm, open man, was a preacher, and he did his thing with his church on a consistent basis, with his community, with the people that he preached to. So much love, prayers, and sending support, everything, spiritual support to LK, man. Condolences. All right, moving on. As I said, with Blackpink. Now, who is Blackpink? You may say, what is? But who is Blackpink? Blackpink is a K-pop band. Everybody, whoever out there, do you know what K-pop is? Do you know what K-pop is? Yeah, K-pop is a genre of music that comes out of Korea. And they've been putting things on Smash for a long time. And sometimes I forget. But K-pop is a mishmash. Of course, it has this urban flavor. Of course, directly connected to urban music, hip-hop, and R&B. And South Korea is doing their thing with K-pop. And with a pop vibe to it. So there's a lot of boy bands and girl bands that do K-pop. But this particular group called Blackpink, it seems like they are on the smash. They did a song recently called Ice Cream with Selena Gomez, and it surpassed 100 million views on YouTube, I think, in the first 24 hours. Crazy. And then they have other songs that are doing crazy numbers. Some songs that I think they're like 2 or 3 years old, and they've already have gotten a billion views, man. It's ridiculous. And they have songs like How You Like That, Kill This Love, Doo-doo-doo-doo, something like that, doo-doo-doo-doo. I forgot how it goes, but I listened to it after I read that article, and I'm like, damn. They also did a collabo with Lady Gaga, and I forgot the name of that song. But it only got 11 million views. So I'm curious of why that. I don't know. Probably because the Lady Gaga song was in Korean, and the song with Selena Gomez that just dropped, I think, a month ago or something like that. Just recently now. A couple with Selena Gomez. Anyway, the latest song called Ice Cream with Selena Gomez, as I said, surpassed 100 million views. So, don't sleep on K-pop, man. And a lot of times we could be so immersed in our own world and hip-hop and R&B and pop music and all that from the States. There is a whole other world of music that's happening and making their rounds and doing their thing on a day-to-day basis, and they are smashing it with the numbers. And it's funny. One thing I gotta say, I'm not knocking K-pop. The one thing that I'm always curious to think, I'm like, okay, they got like 100 million views. I'm like, all right, cool, that's a thing. That means the whole world is looking at Blackpink, and they have consistently hit like 100 million, 200 million, 300 something, as I said before, a billion. And I'm like, okay, let me just see. There's only 50 million Koreans in South Korea. Okay, so then that's why I know that the world is looking at them. I'll say, okay, there's a whole other market, obviously. And And I just felt like, wow. I mean, and some of those views, you got to also keep in mind that they're views that, you're going to watch a video multiple times. You just don't do it once, 5, 6, 10, 20 times. So that also adds to these numbers, is racking up to hundreds of millions of views. But I'm like, but then I thought, and I'm thinking of Lady Gaga, I'm expecting to see the same numbers. And when I only saw 11 million views, I was like, So, yeah, man, I just found that curious. Anyway, so keep your eye on this K-pop thing, man. Check them out if you want to. Put in K-pop on YouTube. It's just not Blackpink. I saw a couple of groups, K-pop groups over the years, and they do great numbers. Not as big as Blackpink, of course, but yeah, just check them out. See and tell me what you think. Next one. Why is everybody going crazy about Kamala Harris and the Timbs she wore coming out the plane? I have no idea why people are going crazy over Kamala Harris wearing a pair of Timbs. I'm like, okay, so she wore a pair of Timbs. All right, she may be the first person that we've seen on TV that is considered a public figure that is known by the whole United States and of course the world to wear a pair of Timbs. Well, I don't understand I was like, okay, cool, that's nice. That's cool. But I mean, maybe it was because it's totally different from how Melania Trump carries it. Because Melania Trump always looks like she wants to walk down a runway or something like that. And I guess to see Kamala Harris in Timbs made her look like regular, like, to connect with the people. I don't know why that's the case. But yeah, she wore Timbs. People don't go crazy over it. All she did was wear Timbs. I mean, what's gonna look like if she wear Crocs? Are y'all gonna go crazy over Crocs? Take it easy. Yeah, check this out. A dentist gets 12 years in jail. 12 years in jail. So I'm like, damn, what did this dude do? So the video came out with this dude on a hoverboard. Everybody knows what a hoverboard is, right? It's this 2-wheel device that you stand on, and depending on how you lean, it goes forward, it goes back, whatever, right? So this dude gets 12 years in jail, and they say he was on a hoverboard taking out a tooth, extracting a tooth from one of his patients. And I'm like, damn, this dude, he got 12 years for bad behavior on a hoverboard taking out a tooth. I'm like, god damn. But it wasn't that. This dude got 12 years because he was caught and charged with fraud and unlawful dental acts. He was found guilty on 46 charges and misdemeanor counts, including embezzlement, fraud, and quote, unlawful dental acts, unquote. They say allegedly, he was administering more drugs so he could charge the insurance companies more, and about as much as $2.5 million. That's so yeah. And then in Alaska Department of Law said he almost killed patients for performing anesthesia without any training or consent. So he got 20 years but got 8 years knocked off of it, so he's gonna serve like 12. So I found that very curious, and I guess that what they said was the video was him on the hoverboard extracting the tooth from his patient was just added evidence to say this guy was reckless and doing all these things. I didn't see it as a big deal, but this guy, I forgot this guy's name, he responded that maybe he acted in what do you call it? It wasn't in a good act, for lack of a better word, for performing that procedure on the hoverboard, and he should have been more disciplined in his act. But yeah, I always thought that, man. And it's funny I saw that because sometimes over the years of the dentists that I've been to, sometimes it was just in the back of my mind how they were like, I questioned some of the choices or the information that I was given after, they did the check on my teeth and they cleaned it and everything like that. This one particular dentist, this dude, how they check the teeth with the hook and they look at your teeth and everything like that. This one particular dentist, this dude, so he's putting the hook or the pick or whatever you want to call it, don't know the name of it, to check for cavities. This dude was literally picking for gold in my tooth. This dude was digging in with the pick. I'm like, my mouth is open and I'm kind of looking at the dude like, yo, dude, I'm saying though, how are you sure you're supposed to go that deep? I'm like, God damn, bro. I'm saying, you just trying to check for fucking cavities. They ain't supposed to give me some. How deep you going? Shit, the food gonna go down there, and then 2 weeks later, I'm coming to you with a fucking cavity. Or whatever the length it take. But I was like, God damn, in my head, I'm like, damn, bro, you going deep. And then there's other dentists, and they're like, okay, do you need this? And I just question the whole thing. Because what keeps a dental practice from doing that? You know what I mean? Because, yeah, the technically the money is coming out of your pocket because you're paying for all this stuff, right? But I'm saying, I feel that some of the procedures or whatever they recommend to you, sometimes I feel it's unnecessary. Sometimes I feel like they're treating you like a guinea pig, because they'll simply say, well, you know, you don't really need that, or we need to do this, and all they're gonna do is charge your insurance companies. I mean, and what do you care? It's kind of like not coming out of your pocket. It's not like you're paying at the front desk for it. You're just, you know, doing what you got to do, and they're gonna charge your insurance company because that's what insurance is for. But then I'm like, damn, do I really need to do this? Because I'm not your guinea pig. If I don't need to have my tooth done in whatever procedure that you're telling me, if I don't need it, why you, man, I don't care. Oh, and they'll say, well, just in case, that's just in case method. Well, just in case, when is it just in case what, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line? I don't need for you to do this. I'm not your guinea pig. I'm not here to be your cash cow so you could charge my insurance company money just so you could get a freaking yacht or your new Beamer or the extension to your house. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure my teeth are good, and if I really do need it, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Thumbs up. I get that. But if it ain't bothering nobody, if it ain't bothering me, why the hell do you need to pull it? At the very least, you can say, or pull it, or whatever it is. At the very least, you can say, hey, man, we're going to keep an eye on this. If it becomes a bigger issue, we'll definitely let you know if we got to do something to this. But other than that, oh, you need to take it out right now. I'm like, right now? but you know, this what can happen if you don't touch it. What? Yo, crazy. So I don't know. So this dude obviously was going above and beyond. Charged $2.5 million to the insurance companies, more than he had to, and he got caught. Look at that. And I was just thinking about that the other day. So anyway, lastly, on this Breonna Taylor case. So Breonna Taylor's family got $12 million settlement for the case last week, the largest in the city. And that's great, and that's a beautiful thing. The family got this. R.I.P. to Breonna Taylor. But what's more important is punishment. Punishment. I'm glad that she got the money from the city. And you know what? Remember, folks, this money comes from taxpayer dollars anyway. This money comes from taxpayer dollars. It's not really hurting their budget in any way. That's what we need to change, along with punishment. We need arrests. We need charges. We need cats to go to jail. We don't need police reform. Now, with the Louisville, this one particular jackbutt or jackass, what you want to call it. I try to check my words because sometimes I have a youthful audience around me. But this jackass. So this dude, the Louisville mayor, Greg Fisher. I'll say him one time. Mayor Greg Fisher, if you're listening. So along with this money, he also announced with that it was going to go along with the settlement. There would be a slew of changes, quote unquote, coming with the Louisville Police Department to address, as he says, quote, air quoting, community connections between the police and the people they serve. Search warrant protocol. police accountability. That is the losing words to choose in this game we know called defund the police. Yeah, man. So my thing is, we want to defund the police. And you've seen, I am an advocate of that. Because in a lot of ways, police don't need to have these multi-million, hundreds of millions of dollars thrown into their budget. We don't want to give a green light for police to kill more black people. Okay? So saying community connection between police and the people, that ain't gonna happen. I've heard words like that. That doesn't say anything about punishment. That doesn't say anything about arrests. Search warrant protocol. What does that mean? Detail that. What is search warrant protocol? We already know that they're not going to do any, what do you call knock-in warrants, I think it's called. Sometimes I get that. Let's do this right quick. Just so I can get the words right. No knock warrants, excuse me. I couldn't knock in warrants. My bad, yo, my bad. No knock warrants. What are we talking? We're not going to do that anymore, right? Search warrant protocol. What does that mean? So we already said we're not gonna do any no knock warrants, right? And police accountability. That don't mean jack. That don't mean shit. Especially when we know in LA, the sheriff's department, where they did a and everybody knows about this at this point in time, where we have gangs within the police department. We have white supremacist gangs within the police department. They're called the Executioners, if I'm correct, and another one's called Vikings. This is well known after doing a research on what was going on in these police departments, this particular one in LA, right? You cannot do any police accountability with that. You need, when it comes to what's happening to LA, what happened to Breonna Taylor and all the other victims of police brutality, you need to defund the police. That means dismantle, reorganize, rebuild. LA has gangs where dudes is tatted up. They got it on their mouse pads, on mugs. They have gangs that are in the police department where they are forcing kills on officers. They're getting, what's the word I'm looking for? They're getting promoted based on who they kill out in the streets. They are reinforcing the quotas in police departments on handing out tickets. That is not reformable. That needs to be dismantled and rebuilt. So I don't want to hear none of that bullshit coming from Mayor Greg Fisher that we need reforms. That ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna do it, excuse me. We ain't with that. We ain't with it. So Benjamin Crump, yeah, he did his thing, right? And a lot of times people want to give cases and with Benjamin Crump, and I had this conversation with my wife. We talking about this whole thing. And, you know, Benjamin Crump is a civil lawyer, right? So I went on his site, but I'm like, yo, we need criminal cases. And it was like, no, Benjamin Crump is not a criminal lawyer. He doesn't do criminal law. So I'm like, you know, we having this one back and forth. And I'm like, let me check this out. So on his site, he has personal injury, labor and employment, security litigation, truck accident, car accident, medical malpractice, civil rights, wrongful death, class action suit, mesothelioma, talcum powder cancer, wrongful incarceration, burn, fire, injury, negligent security, workers' compensation. So Benjamin Crump and his practice, they don't do criminal law. The Breonna Taylor family has to get an attorney dealing with criminal law to lock up these police officers. It's not going to happen from Benjamin Crump, and sometimes that line can be blurred. Sometimes people just be mistaken, like they look at Benjamin Crump, he's the face of all these civil rights cases, and he's the go-to man along with this other dude. What's his name? I can't remember this guy's name. Anyway, along with Crump, and what he does, wins money for victims of police brutality when it comes to civil rights violations. So now the Breonna Taylor family has to get a lawyer, an attorney that deals with criminal law in order to lock up these police officers. So I wish them luck. Everybody's going to be looking closely at this case. Even Breonna Taylor's mother is for that. When she did the press conference when they won the money, she was like, it's just not about money. It's about getting justice. And they're pushing forward with that. So, yeah, man, I'm all with that. The other thing, last thing, before we move on to this music. So Alicia Keys' album came out, and I'm pretty sure that I saw a promotion that it was on Amazon Music. So artists are really, but it's opened up to now all the platforms. But initially I saw a promotion on Amazon Music, and I gave it a try, and I'm like, wow, look at that. That's a beautiful thing. Alicia Keys released her, if it is so, correct me if I'm wrong, released her album on Amazon Music first. And, you know, I gave it a try. I never bought music on Amazon. And I was like, let me buy it. And then bought it. It downloaded, and then I transferred it to my iTunes, and it worked without a problem. I thought it was a great thing. I think that's a new thing now. That artist, it's the second artist. The other one I saw was Talib Kweli on Patreon. He released something that was exclusive to Patreon, and all you had to do was pay people, and it went straight to him. And I think that, as I said, and I've always promoted that, it's not music streaming. It's digital downloads or making music available to your fans on particular platforms, making it exclusive to particular platforms. So I'm hoping this trend grows, where it's just not Alicia Keys, it's Talib Kweli, but it's also a lot of other artists. And you can say, well, artists do make their music available on, you know, different platforms. I'm like, yeah, but we need to make it forefront. We need to kind of get this music streaming word put in the back burner. Like the fourth or fifth or seventh thing you think of as music streaming, first thing we have to think of is supporting artists financially by putting the money directly into their pockets. And if you have a guy like Jay-Z, say, of course, it makes sense for Jay-Z to release new music on Tidal. Go to Tidal, and if it's digitally downloadable, download the music there. Support the artist directly. Or any other blue-collar artist. If they have their joint on specifically Amazon Music and it's not available anywhere else, buy it. They get a lion's share of the money. That should be the new way how we do things. Or if not to say new, the standardized way in order for us to put money into artists' pockets. Okay? That should be the standard way. And then if they want to stream, whatever, that's their business, put that money in artists' pockets. So I did buy the album, and I'm digging it. I'm listening to it as I do my thing on my computer. And so shout out to Alicia Keys. Big ups to her. All right, so we're gonna get into the first couple of songs on the record. We're gonna listen to Theo Blue with Eye to Eye. And he's actually is with this particular brother. I have to find out his IG handle, his name. My bad. I will let you know when we come back. Theo Blue with Eye to Eye, and another joint with this brother called Qure out there in California. He does party mixes, and I thought it'd be dope to listen to this while we go about and do our thing. The name of his song is The Way You Are. So we're gonna listen to Theo Blue, Eye to Eye, and we're gonna check out Qure with his song The Way You Are. All right, we'll be right back, folks. All right, peace.
Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. So it's time to ask ourselves, what kind of nation do we want to live in? That answer requires moral leadership. That might mean having intense conversation about race.
Look me in the eyes, look me in the eyes. Don't you walk away, don't you look aside, yeah. I need no more prayers, I need no more prayers. I need you to give it out to me.
Like, why do I feel like I can't say 90? I have to say 90, enunciate. I mean, you gotta talk proper, say it right. Dress up in a suit and tie, cause they say it's professional. But I just feel like this is white, and that's alright. I just wanna know why the Beatles classic, Beethoven make babies smarter, but Beyonce just for dancing, or she poison to your daughters. Integrate to where they from, but they don't come to where we stay. When I don't know it, then I'm dumb. When they don't know it, then it's slang.
Look me in the eyes, look me in the eyes. Don't you look away, don't you look aside, yeah. I need no more prayers, I need no more prayers. I need you to give it out to.
Wax on, wax off, take no days off. I got what you're waiting for, yeah.
You know what you're rocking to?
Rocking with the best.
Only the best. GCOM Radio.
I want it out to right. I want it out to right. She want it out to right. He want it out to right. Why do I feel like smiling every time you come by? Like, don't be mad, life ain't that bad. That's in the past, don't be that guy. I know I'm your BBFF, black best friend that your mom would accept. Look at him, so adept with the ESL. I speak good for a black. I mean, I speak well. I mean, I speak real. Like, why do I have to teach y'all about what I done did yourselves? When Baldwin and Martin and so many blacks have imparted the truth, you can teach yourself. But that would mean I'm worth your time. That would mean we eye to eye. That would mean you start to see that this race divide just a heap of lies, and they use you whites for a class divide. Abuse you whites, man, you hate our kind. Confuse you whites, so you'll choose to die for they land of the free but can't free your mind. I know the verse a little long, but I need more time. What if we was linking arms with Latino tongues? What if we were going Mars to the beat of God and fought so all are free? There would be no walls and fought so all could see that they feed on us. Yellow, black, white, brown, put their greed in us. So we're forced to compete, put our feet on us. Wrote this song so we can rebuild our trust when we
看着我的眼睛，看着我的眼睛，你也别往地球看，你不要闪着。我不屑再知道，我不屑再知道。我需要你看着我，看着我的眼睛，看着我的眼睛，你也别往地球看，你不要闪着。我不屑再知道，我不屑再知道。我需要。你看着我，看着的眼睛，看着的眼睛，你别往地球看，你不要闪着。我不屑再知道，我不屑再知道。我需要
Give it out to.
Wax on, wax off, take no days off. I got what you're waiting for, yeah. Trust is fragile, it's a battle. But it's what you're waiting for. I want it out to right. I want it out to right. She want it out to right. He want it out to right. Out to right.
Look me in the eyes, look me in the eyes. Don't you look away, don't you look aside, yeah. I need no more prayers, I need no more prayers. And I need you to give it out to.
Hey, turn it up. GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio. GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. Come join, be a Lyfer. Practice dollar power and build financial independence.
All right, so we're back. That was Theo Blue with Eye to Eye, and I swear I thought he had a brother on there with him. I guess I was mistaken. I was mixing it up with the promo picture that he has for the song. But he does have this brother. I recognize his face on some other songs. But it's just Theo Blue with Eye to Eye. I think it's pretty dope. And he goes into, you know, as you heard, it goes into everything as far as what's been going on in this country, as far as police brutality and systemic racism. And I thought it was pretty honest and just being open to how he felt about, you know, human beings, how human beings treat other human beings. So shout out to Theo Blue. And right behind that, brother, just to hear a little bit of party song, a little bit of that thump beat going, was Qure with The Way You Are. Hopefully you like that. I thoroughly enjoyed that song because I could hear it in a little party going on, and I loved it. I love this song. I think it was pretty dope, especially the way he sampled The Way You Are. All right, so before we continue, we can get into business of the week. I'm sure you like this, so check this on out.
Ladies and gentlemen, for that
Bringing you the business of the week and its innovative founders is what you've been waiting for.
It's the season to find the right threads for your at-home comfort. We want the warm and soft necessary for our bodies to recoup, rest, and just chill. Equally as important is the right feel when you have those intimate moments on those late nights with that special someone. It's all a part of the bedroom experience. So, where can you get those threads to sink in? ProsperHeightsHome.com. Born in Prosper, Texas, the founders wanted a product that was of high quality as well as being accessible to many consumer markets. It was all about envisioning a space and feel that would meld the quality of life with the quality of sleep. What is more important than having the right fabric feel for that moment? Lyfeblood.com would like to tip the hat to Prosper Heights Home for bringing prosperity right in between the folds and snug pockets we surround ourselves in our cozy, restful beds. Yeah, man. So we're back. All right. So I just want to get into this particular conversation. I hold close to me because I really care about this particular subject matter, and it connects to a conversation I had last week in a couple of shows that I've had about Lyfeblood.com, and I saw an interesting documentary that came out on Netflix, and it's called The Social Dilemma. And that was pretty interesting. When I saw the trailer, I was like, man, I got to see this. And, so seeing it, yes, I was intrigued and appalled and inspired, and a list of other emotions watching this because I am going down into that field. And I just had a couple of points that I wanted to make when I was watching the show. And they had several people on the documentary. And the whole thing, of course, if you haven't seen it, The Social Dilemma is about the issues that we're having with social media. And they're saying how the AI and algorithms that were used initially for Facebook and all these other social media platforms, initially they started out innocent, trying to be about love and connection and family and friends and building that network. But as Facebook grew into the gargantuan monster that it is on a global scale, Facebook has also ran into being accused of manipulating the mass consent of the American people, and they've been accused of kind of manipulating elections and also kind of instigating dissent or divisions amongst the people. And it's a lot more, some people may say arguably sinister as far as their agenda is concerned with how they're treating the people. And more than just for political reasons, but more so for trying to get advertisers to put their eyes or to take hold of the product, the people are the product, and trying to get to create a revenue stream. But they're willing to let a lot of things or sacrifice a lot of things in order to make that bottom line. And it was interesting how, when I was watching the documentary, how it was all unfolding, and there's various peoples that had various positions in several of these social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Google. And, you know, one specific dude was, I think he was a part of creating Gmail or a mail account, or how it looks and what color. And he pretty much set it off by writing this memo that he released within the company. And everybody knows who I'm talking about. I can't remember the gentleman's name right now, but I'll talk about it. I'll bring him up later. And people kind of agreed with him within the office, and it got to the boss. And then he thought there was going to be this great revolution of change and how we really interact on social media, and there was nothing. So now he just goes around and talks to people about the issue that we're having with social media and how it's causing all types of confusion and conflict, and up to the point where it's kind of swaying public opinion in elections. Now let me bring this dude up. Let me see if I can find this guy. Netflix. I had it before. I had a little glitch happen. I had to restart my computer, so that's why I don't have this thing up. Something was happening with my mic, and I was getting feedback, so I had to restart it, and I didn't bring the thing back up. So just give me. Okay, there it goes. Let's see here. And the guy's name that was a part of the piece of this documentary. His name was Tristan Harris. He's a former design ethicist at Google, and he's pretty much the central character of the documentary. And they had a bunch of other people that's on there that talking about, you know, how social media is going wrong. So anyway, they say that Facebook and Google are just online tools that are free, but really, not, because, you know, nothing's really free. And they said if anything is for free, it's really, you know, they say, what's the product? Well, the product is you, based on the advertisers that they're selling to. And because the advertisers are really what, you know, they're getting in order to get your attention. And that's what it's all about. The main focus is getting as much people as possible on these platforms and getting as much attention as possible. And they've kind of developed all these algorithms and using AI to kind of get your attention through notifications, through likes, through what your friends are doing, what this, you know, potential lover or girlfriend that you just want, or what they're doing. And all of it is based on getting your attention. And that's how they get money from these advertisers. And I think that we have to change the thought process on that. I think they're saying the danger is of remaining a product of social media. And we have to watch how we navigate through this world that we create and how we're manipulated in order to get more money out of these advertisers. And I think it's as simply as changing the thought process. I don't think we have to necessarily ditch social media, and I don't even think that's what they were saying. But I think it's a matter of the glass half full, half empty sort of deal. I don't think we have to be a product to be the driver of it. I think we can be the product, but in ways where we can be the driver to the change that we want. I think we could turn around from being this particular product that they want us to be and what the advertisers want us to buy. And I think we could turn towards a network that engages in constructive communication and contributing to a financial network. And I say this, and I kind of say I tie in Lyfeblood.com, because I think this is a great opportunity as far as Lyfeblood is concerned, what not to be. This is the road where I'm traveling. And I don't want to go down this road based on watching this documentary. But I've never set my mission statement to be Facebook, as I've always said in the past. And I think by looking at this documentary, I'm saying it's important that we can use Lyfeblood to set the new precedent by creating that constructive communication and contributing to the financial network amongst ourselves, how we're building Lyfeblood, and everybody knows what dollar power is. We don't have to be this product that we're kind of senselessly following like lemmings in order to meet the bottom line of some of these social networks. I think we can change that attitude, and it doesn't have to be this huge physical move or taking these huge action or this call to action by jumping off and telling people what to do in a protest, whatever. I think we can stay where we're at. All we have to do is change our thought process, and we can still exist within this world, but we can move by another set of rules that we create, especially what we want to do in this Lyfeblood. And one of the interviewees said, as far as the social networks, we can, as he says, quote, build models that predict our actions, and whoever has the best model wins. And that's what these range of different social media platforms are trying to do. That's their ultimate goal. And I think we can eliminate that. I think we can change these models that have been built for us. I don't think we're like senseless avatars based simply on our likes and wants and desires and the messages we can send. I think we can be individuals within these social networks that can improve our world from the words and actions we utilize to connect with our people. And it gets me that I've seen this gentleman that was a part of this documentary, and one of the main focuses is to use this actor, and it looks like he looks like a Pinocchio or a doll that's being hung by invisible ropes, and he's constantly switched from one screen to the next, and his avatar is doing this. At the end, it becomes him because they're trying to make a point in the documentary. But I don't think we have to be that. I think we can be free flowing in our thought, in our minds, in our action, and we can still connect with our people without having to constantly be trying to connect it. Because one of the people said, sometimes these social media looks like a mall, and I agree with that. And it's one thing that I wanted to bring up before that's connected to it. I was actually reading an article, and I was trying to read this article on my phone. I totally understand what this lady was saying in the documentary. I was reading an article on my phone, and I'm trying to read an article, and all of a sudden, there's a top banner. Matter of fact, let me back up. It's the, how the window at the top of the article has the video of that particular topic of the article. It moves as you scroll down. And then it also tries to show you a commercial before they start the video. And then on the bottom, a notification pops up of a commercial. And then you have what I call one of those ghost ads where it looks like the article is not fully loaded. And then all of a sudden this ad pops up as you are reading and pushes down your paragraph, and you don't even know what you miss your place, and all of a sudden you have this ghost ad pop up saying, hello, check this out, buy this new hoverboard. I'm like, what's going on here? And I couldn't even read my article. So I had the ad from the top, the ad pop up from the bottom, and then the ghost ad that popped up in between my paragraph, and I totally lost where I was going, and it's trying to sell me something. And then I think I saw an ad pop up from the right side of the screen. It was like shoving products down my throat. So I understand what that woman is talking about. That this does not have to be a mall. Social media does not have to constantly push you to buy things. That's what I think. And that's what I know. And I think going forward, we have to change that business model that a lot of these social media sites are on. Them continuously trying to sell you on something. Them ramming it down your throat, saying, wait a second, before you move on any further, you have to look at this ad. And that can be changed by the way we do things. Another thing that they said that this social media is like it's a kind of like tools-based technology environment. I think that's what they say. I think they said it's a tools-based technology environment that is turned to an addiction and manipulation-based environment. Interesting words. I don't think we're lab rats that we have to. I don't think, as far as Lyfeblood.com is concerned, we're not trying to be lab rats. I'm not trying to make people lab rats and where I can fix and reinforce and encourage you to buy products and more products with the use of subliminal views and subliminal messages. So I think that's besides the point. I think that what definitely where we're coming from, I think where social media can take a turn is the messages that come from you. I think not just coming from you as an individual person, but coming from you as a community, as a group. And it's not necessarily, and it's going to be checked, and I'm going to get into that a little further. And it's not where I want to go into like wild conspiracy theories and we're trying to make some nonsense go viral. But I think true fact-based information that is tied into the betterment of your community, whether it's from the county, city, state, or neighborhood, wherever you're from. And this is the point is not to make you lab rats. We're not trying to addict you to something. We're not trying to manipulate you into being better consumers. And I think that's what's the problem in our society, that what we're moving forward with. I think a lot of times where we think our advancement is in the technology we create that wants to make our lives better. I think we're blurring the line of that concept with the advancement of trying to make people better consumers, more efficient consumers. And that's not what we're trying to get at, especially where Lyfeblood is coming from. And I think it was an inevitability for these social media sites to do anyway, because we all live within capitalism. But I think these people that are educated and knowledge and degreed that have been hired to work for these social media platforms have used their skills and their knowledge and their forward-thinking behavior within that discipline to make us better consumers and to figure out how these social media platforms can more efficiently extract money from you. And I think we've missed the point, and that's all a part of the hyper-capitalistic nature that we have arrived at. And I think it's time to change that. And I feel that Lyfeblood wants to change that and will change that in the mission statement that we would like to disseminate to the people. It's an interesting thing. Algorithms. They mention algorithms. They say algorithms are somehow used as a tool to force you into reinforcing your own beliefs. Mark Zuckerberg said he was doing some kind of a talk. I guess he's one of the congressional meetings talking about the influence of Facebook. And he said simply as a response, an answer to how they're going to fix the issues that these politicians are having with Facebook, amongst one of them. And Mark responded is saying that the algorithms, they're going to create algorithms that's going to see the patterns that doesn't look like it's coming from real people, that it looks abnormal. And they're going to use these algorithms to go after these messages that's floating around out there. Interesting. I don't think algorithms is the answer. I think algorithms is a great tool. Don't get me wrong. When you set the parameters, it can do pretty much what you tell it to do. But I think the limitation is the parameters that you give these algorithms, and sometimes they miss the mark. And we all know this. I think it must be humans that's going to change that idea. I think the house must be rebuilt. We cannot just think we can put a bunch of, code and lines of code and think, okay, this is what we're going to look for, and all of a sudden these algorithms are going to do the job for us. I think that's lazy. I think humans going to have to get more or less get their hands dirty and change the system from within. Change how these social media platforms exist, how they operate from within in the messages that they give, and how they're going to actually maybe remove certain things or add certain things. And it not just as far as algorithms doing the work for them, but actually getting into this world and telling folks, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to force, whether it's through messages, whether it's through campaigns within the social media platform. It can express itself in many ways. But I think Mark Zuckerberg has it the wrong way. I think that was just an easy answer that he can give at the moment to these politicians to show that they're going to do something. And I don't think it's as simple as just creating algorithms. I think Mark has missed the point on that. We're going to go and get into the next couple of songs, and we're going to be right back. I don't want to run over. I just want to make sure I stay within my limits for this particular show, and so I could get to some of these other songs that I have set up here. And for some reason, I closed this window. So for right now, and we'll get back to this topic I'm talking about as far as the social dilemma and how Lyfeblood can be the solution to this social dilemma. We'll get into that a little bit later, but for right now, let's get into the two songs that we have for the show. One of them is a bonus track, Coco Sarai. We played her before on the show, and her song was Coffee in the Morning. Well, I'd love to see what's going on with her right now. What is she up to? But it's Coco Sarai, and right behind Coco is June Skyline featuring Johnny Good, Where Is the Love? And that's another song that kind of highlights what's going on around the world, especially in the United States with all the social issues that we're having right now. And I thought that was another hot song that needs attention, and to get that message out there, and we can start getting on the same page and let this be the spark the conversation wherever you hear this song, and seeing how we could get on the road, we could get on the streets, and we can get online and start changing and creating the world that we want. So we're going to listen to Coco Sarai with Coffee in the Morning, and then right after we'll get into June Skyline featuring Johnny Good with Where Is the Love? All right, we'll be right back, folks. All right.
We are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it.
Coffee in the morning, in the evening time out. Something about that pretty black, it's so defined out. Swear to God, I shiver when I see it shining, I do. You are beauty personified, it's true. And all that deep dark heaven, take me there, ooh, I wanna go with you. All that deep black heaven, take me there, ooh, I wanna go with you. All that sweet dark heaven, take me there, I swear that I love it, I do.
This is what compels me to compel them. And I will do it by whatever means necessary.
Coffee in the morning, in the evening time, oh, oh, oh. Something about that pretty black, it's so refined, oh, swear to God, I shiver when I see it shining, I do. You are beauty personified, it's true. And all that deep dark heaven, take me there, ooh, I wanna go with you. All that deep black heaven, take me there, ooh, I wanna go with you. All that sweet dark heaven,
take me there. I swear that I love it, I do. I do, 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 I do.
Why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture? I think that's what you're asking. I have no choice over it.
Deep in my soul.
You heard it here first, folks. Where else can you hear the latest? You know the show. Say it.
Brothers that have been taken from us. Every time I turn around, I hear about someone else unarmed and gunned down. Yeah, I'm tired of these shoulders and seeing all these men walk free. It really hurts to know this truth. Yeah. See, these are men filled with hate, or maybe they are just afraid. Either way, we need a change, yeah. Many mothers crying, watching their sons dying. But trigger-happy police who don't even know peace. That could have been me, that could have been you. That could have been your son too, or even your father. Man, where's the love? Where's the love? Where's the love? What's going on in this world when I got the love?
What up,
Where's
Theo?
Where's the love?
It's good.
For your fellow man.
Yo, where's the love? Tired of the hate that's going on. Tired of the negativity in every song. Niggas wanna clown if you can't afford a charm. They rather hold you down than they help you get along. Mom crying she don't need another loss. Her boy in the street, he ain't weighing out the cost. Wolf gotta eat, he ain't worried about the law. He hunting with the heat, about to sacrifice it all. We need a remedy, cause the love missing. How we killing over beef and some hurt feelings? Can we get back to the days we was clean dealing? Frankie Beverly and Maze and the bean killing. I wanna play Smoke J, sweet thing chillin'. Get paid, share a flake, so we all winning. Rock till I'm 9 days, till the Lord call me. Spreading love, never hate, cause we God's body.
Many mothers crying, watching their sons dying.
Wow.
But trigger-happy police who don't even know peace. That could have been me, that could have been you.
For real though.
It could have been your son too, or even your father. Man, where's the love? Where's the love? Where's the love? What's going on in this world when you got the love? Where's the love? Where's the love? For your fellow man. Man, where's the love? Where's the love? Where's the love? What's going on in this world when you got the love? Where's the love?
Okay, so we're here. We're here back for the third segment. You just heard Coco Saraya with Coffee in the Morning, and they ended off on The Right Message with June Skyline featuring Johnny Good with Where Is the Love? Where is the love? Where is the love exactly? We got a lot of work to do, man. We got a lot of work to do as human beings. And I think, man, this is a deep conversation. I don't know what to say. I think there's a lot of things that there's a mission as far as black people is concerned, what we're on as far as fixing the issues that we have, that has been that systemic racism has affected, dismantled, hurt, smashed, destroyed. And there's a lot of fixing that we have to do for ourselves. But also there are things that are outside black folk or Africans in the diaspora that human beings have to fix as well. within their own countries. And if we're going to step into a world where we can be more equal, we could be more compassionate, we could be more understanding of each other's struggles and pains, of our differences, the beauty in our differences, and know that there are people that love themselves just as much as they love the rest of the world. And that's with their culture, that's with their people, and that's with everything that they are. And we're not here to take away anything from anyone. We're not going to big ourselves up in order to tear other people down. And I think that's what we got to learn. And I don't know if that's something that this world can do. And I don't want to sound negative, but there's just so many things, so many problems, so many divisions, so many things that have popped up that causes us to tear ourselves apart. And everything that we see in this world right now, from religious differences to racial differences, or racial persecutions, to gender persecutions, women inequality. I think there are a lot of things that we seek out to divide us. And I think if we take the time to respect each other's differences, and I may not understand, even as a person that I am, I may not understand everything, but just because I don't understand does not mean your value is less as a human being. It's just that I just don't understand, and that's fine. But I'm not going to use my understanding or my lack of to try to stamp you out. Understand what I'm saying? And I think we're going places in this world, and we're gonna moving towards going to Mars. And what does that mean? We're about to send people into space where it is treacherous, it is violent, where things are 100 times bigger than we are. And we're going to put human beings in a can, a long cylindrical can. And we're going to shoot them into the darkness of space. And we want to get those humans to land on a nearby planet in our solar system called Mars. We've sent rovers there already to test the geological landscape, the soil, the rocks, the minerals, what's there, the atmosphere. And we're going to send humans to this red planet, and we're going to set up shop. We don't know what we're going to discover. We don't know what we're going to see. But there's something that is so extremely important and profound about human beings traveling to another planet and what it means to go to another planet, to land on an alien world as human beings. And that to me is a tremendous feat that we can claim as a win, that we can claim as an accomplishment to what we can do as human beings. And we may not see these people again. It is very likely they will die. It could be anything. It could be weather. It could be a malfunction on the spaceship along the way there. But say they get there. It could be an alien creature. It could be microbes that we find on the planet that kills them. It could be from a variety of different variables that could lead to their death. But they chose to do that. These brave individuals, these courageous individuals chose that to do that in the name of humanity. And what we will find, even if it's a small microbe, once we find it, even if it's long dead, a microbe on some non-discriminate rock or pebble, if we find that, it will be irrevocably change how human beings see themselves, where we position or where we see ourselves in this vast universe, and what does that mean for us here on this planet. And these people are going to build a base, set up labs, set up sleeping rooms, or cells, or whatever you want to call it, spaces. And they're gonna, I believe they're gonna be there for 3 months. And after 3 months, after all their work is done, they're gonna pack all their things up, get back on this can, shoot themselves back into space to head back home. And once they land here, let's say everything goes right on the way there, everything goes right while they're there for the months on this red planet, and everything goes right on the way back, these people will go down in history. I'm not talking about man on the moon. I'm not talking about orbiting the earth. I'm talking about actually us humans jumping off this blue pearl onto that planet and back. That is something to just gawk at with your mouth open. And what does that say about us human beings once we achieve this mission? How do we look at each other? How can we deal with the issues that we're having when we're warring? When it's rape, when it's murder, manipulation of the masses, our corrupt politics, fighting over quote unquote lack of resources, jobs, unemployment, underemployment, racial issues. Will this have an effect on how we're going to deal with all of these things that we're dealing with as human beings on this planet? Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe things will just, we'll go back to usual business and possibly kill each other. What does that mean for us when these human beings come back? They defied all odds. Or maybe they won't. And it's still a lesson. And that doesn't mean it's going to stop us, because human beings, we won't stop. Because if we could go from one landmass to another landmass and those people died from malaria or mosquitoes or animals, vicious animals, or other strange people, and we can die, and human beings still went anyway to that landmass. Even if those human beings die on the planet Mars, do you think that will be the end? No, we'll send another group of people. And that next group of people will make that choice, will volunteer their bodies to be separated from their families, to try to achieve something no human has done before. The human spirit. The need to go where no one has gone before. And I don't mean to sound like Star Trek. To do things no one else has done before. And to say, I did that. It was I. And I did that not just for me, but what we as humans can do. That is something else. And the day that happens, I will be right there watching my television to see that space shuttle take off right from Florida, or wherever it will take off, and watch it as it disappears into the night sky, into space, of course, from the cameras. and I will pray for human beings, and I will pray for them that they come back safely, and I will hope that this accomplished mission can do something for us here as human beings on this planet. All right, so we're gonna go into what was that? News you need to know. All right, so let's go and check this out, and I'll end this segment with part 2 of the social dilemma. All right, be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, around the world and right in your neighborhood, it's the news you need to know.
China plans to test COVID vaccine on their children. A Chinese company called Sinovac plans to take the phase 2 and 3 clinical trials to over 500 children ranging from 3 to 17 years of age. The drug is called CoronaVac, and Chinese experts say there hasn't been any adverse effects on adults to date. The drug is an inactive version of COVID-19, which would help the body build up an immunity to the virus. Sinovac has stated they already have injected 3,000 Sinovac employees and their families who have not been a part of the clinical trials. Although the company is at the head of the pack in this research, several outside medical professionals are skeptical in their methods. John Moore, professor of microbiology and immunology at Cornell University, said it is highly unusual to conduct pediatric trials before a vaccine has been proven safe in adults. Under normal circumstances, research teams wait for large-scale trials to prove the vaccine is effective. Dr. Stephen Joffe, a pediatric oncologist and professor of medical ethics and health policy at the University of Pennsylvania, states, quote, "It's a delicate balance. If you wait for more definitive efficacy results in adults, it puts you a year behind in kids. But if you jump out ahead of the adult results, you risk exposing kids to a vaccine that doesn't work and will never get rolled out in the market," unquote. In 2018, a survey showed 60% of Chinese parents wanting to inoculate their children outside of China because of a number of domestic scandals in the vaccine industry. Sinovac hasn't been attached to any substandard vaccines, but the company has been noted for past issues. Music event venues fight for survival. Music venues are in serious trouble. They have taken a massive hit since the global pandemic has been announced in March 2020. The National Independent Venues Association, formed in April, has nearly 3,000 members that will close their doors in October. With a highly likelihood of business failing, the Save Our Stages Act, introduced to the Senate by Senator John Cornyn, Republican of Texas, and Amy Klobuchar, Democrat of Minnesota, and to the House of Representatives, Peter Welch, Democrat of Vermont, and Roger Williams, Republican of Texas, it would establish a $10 billion grant program to provide 6 months of financial support to help keep businesses afloat. The legislation is still up in the air, being that there is serious partisan standoffs happening in Congress. While venue owners wait on the federal government, there are some who have engaged their local and state governments as alternative routes. Some have received emergency funding. However, it's a band-aid to COVID's long-term problem. So far, there are 140 senators and representatives fighting to get the Save Our Stages Act attention, all the while venue owners are slowly sinking into the inevitable outcome exacerbated by this pandemic. Go to Billboard.com for a list of venues closing across the country. And that is the news you need to know. All right, so we're gonna get into this. All right, let's continue. So as far as what I was seeing, the other thing that I saw that I noticed, which was very unfortunate and it kind of hit me hard, was the fact that the social media has affected a lot of our youth. And this particular person said that since social media, there was a sharp rise in the non-fatal injury hospital admissions and suicide amongst young adults and tweens. And it's unfortunate. And of course, because these sites like IG, it's an image focused tech tool, based on likes and all that, and we're surrounded by these negative comments by strangers, which I happened to respond to one just now before getting back on here. All right. And these people, you don't know who these people are. They make these negative comments and they're on there and they're there to disparage you or the individual that posted it. And then you go to this this person's page, and they have like 5 followers and 3 people that they follow, and obviously they just created this page. So I'm supposed to believe a person that literally looks like they just opened that page, believe what they say, say, oh, that person, you can't believe in that person, they're bullshit, and they're trying to throw darts at this individual. No, I'm not gonna take that. You're a fake, bro. But I'm older, so I understand that. But then you have a lot of teens and tweens that get on these social media platforms, and they do it for likes. And when they don't get these likes, when they don't get the satisfaction of what they post, they get depressed. And they say there's a higher rate of depression amongst this age group. And I think that's one thing that social media has to change. They have to change, and I'm not saying they have to destroy a part of what they are as a social media business, but I think what they have to do is inject positive reinforcement in the people, just like the same way and I'll say this even with IG, the same way where they can share every 3 or 4 posts, you'll see a commercial, or you'll have someone post something about their music or whatever the case. I think the same way where IG or Facebook, of course, because Facebook owns IG, the same way we can see that, I think there should be positive reinforcement messages for people to see. We have to help. We got to help these young girls, man, and young boys too. I think the same way where we can help our children when we're watching a scary movie with them, and how we tell them, and they're really scared, and they come close to us, and they're like, "Mom, Dad, look, Dad, it's scary. Our monsters, these monsters real, or werewolves real, vampires real." And the same way we could tell them, "No, this is all fake. This is all for fun, and it's entertainment, and this is a set. See that guy with those fangs? They're fake teeth, and this guy with fur. Look how he pulls it off. It's all silicone, and it's taped on, or it's." I can't remember the word, but they use an adhesive, a glue to kind of attach it to them. This is all fake. In the same way where we can assure our kids that none of these monsters are real in these monster movies, I think it's the same way where we have to send out positive reinforcement to these young girls and boys that feel that they're not getting what they want from these social media sites. And we do not want to lead more of this particular age group to, hurt themselves because they're not getting what they want from their peer group, or committing suicide, or feeling they're inadequate in some way. And I think there's a certain level of responsibility that we do have to take as people that run these social media platforms, and what we have to do for the people that we're selling to. And I think that's the disconnect. I think that's the problem, even not just with social media, but business in general, and how it's happening. Because they're treating people like units of money, like they're individual nodes, or how should I say, they're individual containers that are holding on to cash. And it's not something that these social media sites or these businesses have to worry about. It's not something, they don't care, they don't feel, they don't love, they don't hate. They're there just to feed into the business so they can make their quarterly or annual earnings. And I think businesses have to move past that and see people as human beings, and see how there's an adverse effect on these particular young adults that feel that they're not getting what they want from these social media sites. And I think it would be great to give that positive reinforcement, to say you're beautiful, you look great. And also, you may want to do a campaign with movie stars or public figures and models or whatever. Have them take off all their makeup. Alicia Keys has done that for a little bit, and people surrounded themselves with that, and other stars are doing the same thing. But I think it's important that we use models without makeup and all that, and say, no, this is not my life. I don't look like this all the time. And have short videos that show that. And you can show these young teens and say, oh man, this is all make-believe. I shouldn't have to gauge my life based on what I see, or how pretty this model looks, or, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. And we have to show them that. And it's for the mental health of the generation that's coming after us. And I think that's very important. Tristan Harris, he says that if we don't agree what is true, or if there is such a thing that is truth, we're toast. And he continues to say, I quote, "This is the problem beneath other problems. Because if we can't agree on what's true, then we can't navigate out of any of our problems." Interesting. Listen, social media. I understand this social dilemma. But you know what? Before social media, we've always had people that disagreed and believe in falsehoods, i.e., our educational system. We have school books that teach kids the wrong part of history, their lies, their omissions, that formulate how they see themselves in the world and how they relate to others. For example, I know of one particular Dominican dude that I bumped into, and we had a conversation about the history of Dominican Republic. And he actually said to me that Spaniards that came to the island of Hispaniola brought servants. I'm like, what? I couldn't believe what I was saying, because I'm like, this dude told me that the Spaniards that eventually arrived to the island of Hispaniola brought servants. I'm like, bruh, where is your mind? And he was taught this in school. He was taught this in the Dominican Republic. And it was probably some old 1925 edition history book that was made by some racist dude. And all of a sudden, these books are passed off to the kids in the Dominican Republic. And it shapes how they see themselves, how they see other people, and the way they will maneuver through society. So we've always had untruths, and we've always had disagreements. And our educational system has taught millions of people to believe in what they want to teach. So it's not just a matter of social media. Social media, the only thing that social media does is just made the transfer of information quicker to a whole section of people in America and around the world, where it could get to millions of people. But you know what? Books did the same thing. It just took a little bit more time. So I don't think it's a matter of social media, but again, it comes back to us. And I encourage people to really look at how they see the problem, this social dilemma that we are having with social media, and what answers or solutions should come with that. Because I don't believe we should constantly try to see these problems as strictly externalities that needs to be shaped or re-trafficked or algorithms put on them to kind of sway the opinions or viewpoints to be something that's more fair and balanced. Or the information, not even viewpoints, the information that we share. It's not these outside things. It's us. If we change our mental, if we change how should I say this? If we take the time to change what's within us, we eventually or simultaneously will change the things that are around us. So it has nothing to do with social media, the code, how we're going to move around and send messages as it's scrolling through our social media profile. But we have to change us first and foremost. Once we change us, we change the world. So I think it's key. And sometimes you have to, I see like this, you know, some of these people are afraid that, or concerned how this information is getting out there, and they want to kind of control that. And I don't think it's that simple. Sometimes I even feel that how should I say this? I I'm well aware of misinformation that can get out to the people. I'm well aware of that. But at the same time, I also want to educate folks on information that could be considered, quote unquote, conspiracy theories, because not everything is a conspiracy theory. So we have to be real careful on how we sift through this information that gets shared on social media. Some of it is very well true. And that could go on a number of different things that have happened in American history. Like, for instance, what I just said about the guy thinking that the Spaniards brought servants. That's misinformation. But we have to be able to educate people and use social media as educational platforms, as well as trying to sell a car or something like that, and actually getting true factual information out to the people. Because I think at the end of the day, sometimes it serves a purpose for misinformation to get out there. It serves a purpose to not actually give the right information. Because at the end of the day, it's about power, competition, and control, is it not? Yeah, we have a democracy, but it's also about power, competition, and control. As one person told me, locks are for honest people. Locks are for honest people, because I was messing with a lock. I'm like, damn, man, we can't lock. You said, man, whatever, man. Locks are for honest people. I'm like, whoa, oh snap, that's kind of, oh, that's kind of true, right? So, because the burglar is always going to find a way around the lock, either break the lock, put in a master key in there, or jump over the gate. Right, so in a way that's kind of like, you know, the issue with social media. You say, oh, we want misinformation to get out there, but sometimes misinformation works. Because if you have people worrying about misinformation and they're doing a versus battle against each other based on this misinformation, then you kind of keep them, you know, off kilter with the real things that are going on behind the scenes. So I don't think people or certain individuals want things to be too honest. But, you know, we don't want this Pizzagate thing to be getting around, right? So I think we have to be very careful. I think, again, it's the responsibility of the social media platform to kind of knock down, you know, propaganda and conspiracy theories, but at the same time, allow people to have that freedom of speech, but only if it's fact-based. All these things I bring up, right? All these things I bring up has something to do with Lyfeblood.com. And this has only kind of reinforced my own belief on what Lyfeblood can be, where we don't want to go, the road that we do want to take, and how we can help people along the way. I want to be a brand that's going to avoid the pitfalls of staying technologically relevant and competitive with the tools that like companies like Facebook and IG and all these others use. And I think they're useful tools in a way, but I think they could be adjusted as we grow, because as we grow and build up as the years go on, we know the roadmap that we want to take once we lay it out. Because I don't think Facebook can do it. I really don't think Facebook can do it. I don't think they can change. They've gotten too big. Their foundation is based on how they operate today. So I don't think it's as easy as going to Mark Zuckerberg and saying, hey man, maybe we should add these algorithms and change or do this and do that. But I think they're too entrenched in what they are. And if these individuals want to make a change, all those people that spoke on the social dilemma, I think something new has to come out from this. Take into consideration everything that they said. And I'm hoping as Lyfeblood gets to where it needs to go, we could take those kernels of truth, those facts, and we could incorporate it into the business model that we go by. There are certain things that are key and essential for Lyfeblood to exist in. That's dollar power. That's the network. That's self-actualization of the users. That's truth, human will, desire, drive, willing to network with each other to build something, because one person is not going to be able to do it. One person is not going to be able to change the way we want things. We don't believe in that one person. We believe in the group. when it comes to information, when it comes to our society, when it comes to our economics. It's the group that's going to change things, not one person or three. So the same way where these companies can try to make more efficient consumers, I want to make more efficient human beings into the 21st century. And maybe we can have someone post something and they get sent through space and they post it through Lyfeblood.com. And we can stake a flag in Mars with Lyfeblood.com with the best of us, the best of our ideas, the best of our ideals. That's what it's about. That's what Lyfeblood wants to do going forward. How we can navigate around this, because we're not Facebook, we're not IG, we're not Twitter, we're not any of these things. I do not want to make better consumers. And I said I was gonna have advertised. I don't know. I'm tipping towards against it. I don't know. I'm still up in the air with it. Maybe not. Maybe have them on the periphery. Maybe certain advertisers that are going to advertise something that's useful for the people. And I'm not going to advertise, I don't know, a coin collector jar. I'm not going to do that. Some random piece of nonsense. You know what I mean? Where I just want you to buy. I'm not here for that. I'm here to improve human beings and everything that they are. I'm here to improve their condition, their society. And it's going to take every one of us to change that. So if we can be more efficient in algorithms, sure, we're going to use algorithms to a certain degree, but not in the way that these companies are doing it. Freedom is the key. Economic freedom is the key. Human freedom is the key. So if you're listening out there, if you understand where I'm coming from and you've listened to this show since episode 1 up to this point, if you understand where I'm coming from, join me. Be a part of this world that I'm creating, this Lyfer word. Build a new life within Lyfeblood.com. And if you want some, and I encourage all these people on the social dilemma, if they're curious to come on the show and talk about it, come on the platform and build something, start the conversation. Because if we want something different, if we really want something different, we will not hem and haw. We will not make excuses. We will not be like, well, I'm over there. If you really want change, you'll be right here with me. Understand what I'm saying? I'm going to move into the 21st century, just like how those astronauts are going to move through space and land on Mars and come back. We're going to move with drive. We're going to move with ambition, courage. We're going to move forward. All right. Thank you guys for listening to me on this show. I appreciate all of you that have listened to the last word of mine. Shout out to all the artists that was on the show. Again, Theo Blue, Qure, June Skyline with his boy Johnny Good, and also Coco Sarai. Thank you for submitting your music to the show. And guys, I am out of here, and I'll see you guys next week. Join Lyfeblood.com. Be a lifer, as I said. If you have a problem with all these social media sites, and you see that there is a social dilemma and you want it to change, join Lyfeblood.com. Be a lifer. Create the network that we want together. Also, the New York Tech Day thing, of course, because of COVID, it got pushed again. So they were trying to, the people that created New York Tech Day and the folks over at Jacob Javits Center were trying to hold down that date in October, but unfortunately it got pushed to November, and it's all virtual because they're concerned with the spread of COVID, and you know they're right. They're right. So I'm looking forward to going online virtually with all those folks that are part of New York Tech Day. I'm looking forward to laughing and smiling and exchanging ideas and words and and learning what people are doing in London and in California and right here in New York. And it's going on for 3 days. I'm going to try to make London, but London's like we're in a totally different time frame. So I don't know if I could do it, but I'll see. I don't know. But definitely, I think from what I can see now, it's definitely going to be LA and New York. So, so we're going to be there and do that. And I'm probably going to I'm trying to think what I can do and submit to people so I can give them a good idea other than words on what Lyfeblood. I'm probably going to do like a short video or a 2-minute video or something like that, or another 1-minute video just to show people Lyfeblood.com. So, I'll be there for that. So again, thanks you guys for listening. Send me a tweet, send me a post on IG. I'm at Lyfeblood on Twitter. I'm at Lyfeblood on IG. Lyfeblood Runs Thick on Facebook business page. And you can reach me there, man. I'm reachable. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to get out of here. All right, guys. Peace. I'll see you next week. All right.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.